One of the things that became very evident when I took over the company, the customers realised that I'd put the prices up. We said, look, we don't want to be judging our upfront cost. Give us one furnace. Let us line that furnace up front, putting the best linings in with the best installation people. And then we measure that furnace over 5 or 6 years. And it was before there's a thing called TCO, total cost of ownership, and it's the total cost of owning that furnace for the customer over its lifetime. So up front, there's a bigger cost with us, but over the life of that furnace, we've been audited by every major aluminium producer in the world, and we're the cheapest when we're governed over the total life of the furnace and the throughput and production it produces. Then our really big break came with Rio Tinto, which at that time was the biggest mining company in the world. And they had these aluminium smelters in South Africa. They wanted to reline 10 furnaces, which is a massive contract. I looked at their linings, and their furnace linings were lasting 4 or 5 years, and they were losing a lot of production, a lot of downtime, and having to reline them. And I did some audits of their furnaces and said, look, we can double your lifetime and increase your capacity by 25% for the same price. We did the first furnaces, and it was the first time anyone had ever increased capacity of these furnace linings and guaranteed double the life and guaranteed there would be no extra fuel consumption to create this remelt. Tab went massive. Environmental emissions were reduced per cost of aluminium per tonne produced. It paid for itself within its own financial year. There's a lot of developments going on now for fuel consumption and greenhouse and carbon emissions. And aluminium is the cheapest metal to recycle. It's also the lightest metal, but it can also, with the alloys, can be the strongest metal. That's why it's used in aerospace, it's used in rocket ships, aeroplanes, cars, reduces fuel consumption, reduces the carbon footprint. Along with our furnace linings, we can make them better thermally consistent so they don't lose as much energy, so the energy is used more to melt the aluminium. So that is where we are focused more and more on going forward, on those thermal efficiencies in the furnace linings. Aluminium, aluminum, wherever you're from, is the metal of the future, and the alloys that are being made now are being made stronger than any sort of steel products.
The aluminium industry has really taken off. One of the big reasons is because it's just like recyclable. It's seen as the green metal. So aluminium can be recycled again and again and again. I think there's figures that over 75% of the aluminium that has ever been made is actually still in use today. Primary aluminium takes a lot of energy to make it, but when you recycle aluminium, you're only losing 5% of the energy to make the aluminium. So less emissions, but also just sort of cost savings. One of our specialities in terms of furnace linings in the aluminium industry is to increase the capacity of that furnace by putting in or designing a reduced lining, which then allows you to get more metal in that furnace. So casting more metal, producing more metal, without the need to go and purchase a larger furnace to do that. So we have to design the linings to be thermally efficient, obviously to reduce the energy costs, and also just to ensure that it's a safe lining to contain the aluminium metal. We see a continued increase in the recycling of aluminium. Then also we're looking at projects now where they're actually converting the old gas-fired burners into hydrogen-fired furnaces. And the big benefit of that is that when you burn hydrogen, you get zero carbon dioxide emission. Obviously working towards like a greener future and reducing our carbon footprint.